All right. Without further ado, we're going to introduce Miss Carolyn here. And Dawn, would you like to
Oh,
do that? I know you knew
absolutely.
her before I did. I just talked to her the other night.
Hey, well, welcome, Carolyn Willman. Carolyn is a digital marketing consultant, better known as the Contest Queen. She has won over $250,000 in sweeps and prizes
That's exciting.
and has helped others win over $1 million in prizes. So, welcome, Carolyn. I also wanted to mention you've written two fabulous books, You Can't Win If You Don't Enter, and How to Win Cash, Cars, Trips, and More. So, we are ready, Carolyn. Tell us how to win today.
Very
Show us how
exciting.
to win.
Very
Well,
exciting.
actually, first thing you should do is think you're a winner. You can't go in with a miserable attitude and expect to win. So this actually being on United Intention, this is perfect because you have to intend to win.
Absolutely.
And I don't win everything that I enter, but I intend to win everything that I enter.
That's awesome.
Hey, Carolyn, tell us, share with our audience, what is the most fabulous thing you've won?
Okay, so I have three answers to that question. So my favorite prize that we won was going to the Harry Potter set before it was open to the public. So that was really cool. We went to London for the weekend. What did you do?
Wow.
I find
And
that
then,
that interesting, Carolyn, because it has that's kind of a whole
wizard,
wizardry
yeah.
and magic. I mean, how
I know, it
apropos.
was so cool. And then,
That was your sign, by the way, that you had to keep this as a hobby.
oh
It's kind
yeah,
of magic.
and then the most expensive prize we won was a trip to the last Winter Olympics. Well, actually, I guess it was two ago. My goodness, where does time go? In 2010, when it was in Vancouver, we went to the Olympics, which was really neat. It was actually the warmest Olympics. It was kind of, it was ridiculous. People were wearing shorts and t-shirts.
Wow. At the Winter
I know.
Olympics. That's
At the
crazy.
Olympics. And then I know, and it's funny because the year before they and my favorite prize has no price on it. Is I got to meet Sting, so I have a
Oh.
picture and I have my arm around him. Oh my gosh, that was so. What I really like about the hobby, and I'm a marketer, so it's something that in the marketing world is called experiential prizing, which is experiences and things that money wouldn't buy or isn't in most people's budget. Those are my favorite prizes because it's that's your everyday life. You don't meet Sting in your everyday life.
Right. Right.
So I love the prizes that that I would just never come across, or things. And I like the things that are in my budget. Like I took my daughter to her first concert and things like that. That just tickets are so expensive, and I live near Toronto. So it's like being in Atlanta or Chicago or New York. I mean, tickets are not inexpensive, and so it adds to the budget where things wouldn't happen. And it's funny because she doesn't know a world without winning, and and then I put stuff off. Like I think, oh, I must be able to win one of those, and then it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, you know what? I just better break down and buy it because it's not happening.
That's funny.
It's funny. I've become almost too frugal sometimes.
Well, what I love about you is that your actual mainstream job, your job that you do for a living is marketing. Like you said, you have an extensive background in it and education in marketing. So you help marketers actually form their sweepstakes. And so you know the background of the sweepstakes. You know how the statistics work. You know how the math works. So it
Right.
makes you even more to do your hobby, being the contest queen. It makes you even more, I guess, able to have
Be
the
on both
insight.
sides
Yeah,
of the table
both sides of-
as a
yeah.
sweeper,
Yeah.
which we call it. And
Yeah.
or Carolyn, you taught me that term, sweeper.
Sweeper. I like that sweeper.
Yeah.
Sweep it up, baby.
I know, which is funny because in Canada, if you say you're a sweeper, they all think I like curling. And they're and so we actually there's legal definition. Oh my gosh, we were out to dinner the other night, and my daughter could recite verse and key the legal definition of a sweepstakes and a contest and a lottery, and I went, oh my gosh,
Oh,
this
gosh.
kid has been taught verse and and also always thank the sponsor, like right out of her mouth.
That
You know,
is so funny.
automatically you win something, you take a picture, you thank the sponsor. That's what you do. You got to show your gratitude. She's got it down pat, and I just chuckle because I've had her so well trained.
That's
Well,
so
that's
funny.
interesting.
That's
When you
funny.
say you take a picture and thank the sponsor, is that on your website? Is that on your social media?
Well,
or is it
depends on
personally?
where I win it, but it tends to be, if I win it on social, I tend to thank them on the channel that I won. So, because it ties in. And then I just won it in general, I tend to thank on Facebook.
But
I
now,
don't know why, that just seems to be
what
my...
about to the normal person like me or like Jesse that we just enter sweepstakes? We don't know to thank the supporter. How did you know to do that? And does it matter to just the regular person? You know
Well,
it because you helped form it.
Right. Well, I look at it this way. It doesn't, just common sense. Now, if I gave you a gift, if you didn't say thank you, would I want to give you another gift? I'd think, oh my gosh, that girl is rude,
Yeah, the insider.
right?
Okay.
Just,
Hmm.
right? Just normal, common human courtesy. And the people running sweepstakes are human beings. And they have, bad days and good days, and they make mistakes, and their kids are sick maybe tomorrow, and their boss is being cranky this week, and so if they get a thank you, they think, well, somebody actually got the prize, won, and they appreciate it too. And they're also saying publicly, because they got to show their boss. They're like, I did this big promotion and then nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're like, oh my gosh, this person, they loved it. They shared it. They did a little video. They were so blessed that they got it. And then it makes their job easier too. And then they have another reason to hold a sweepstakes. So I do it because that's what you should do. When someone gives you a gift, you should thank them. That's what my parents taught me when I was little, and that's
good.
that's to me the way it should be, even for prizes.
Well, there's a lot that is in our world currently about gratitude and the power of appreciation and gratitude, and how that creates space for good things to flow to you by being in that state of gratitude. So I think that
And like you said, you have a whole chapter in your book on feeling like a winner. If you think you're lucky before, you are lucky. So I think the gratitude and the feeling lucky and setting that intention kind of all goes together, wouldn't you think?
I think it's all of it. I've been studying this kind of work since I was 18. My dad handed me a book at 18 and said, if I can teach you at 18 what I learned at 36, you'll be way ahead of me. So I've been reading, Norman Vincent Peale and Wayne Dyer and,
Me too.
Tony Robbins and all these guys since I was young. And so to me, that just is part of the hobby. I always thought I could win. And to me, like, the gratitude is just a natural part of it. I don't do it because I don't thank the sponsor because I think I'm going to win something else. I thank the sponsor because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And as both a human being and as a marketer, because I know that if I'm holding sweepstakes, I think it's disgusting when I've seen sponsors have to email out and say, hey, if you got a prize, can you send us a picture? And I think, oh my gosh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
If I'd been a kid, oh my gosh, I would have been grounded. I would have been sat in my room, told to write a thank you note.
Well, Carolyn, you mentioned your father. Was he a contest enterer, a sweeper? Or
No, I'm the odd
contest connoisseur.
Yeah.
And I always liked it. I remember being younger and entering, the counting contest and stuff, for the kids. And I always liked the idea of winning. And I remember dialing into the radio station when I was a teenager on the road. Oh my God, I'm so old. On the rotary dial phones. And I always liked the idea of winning. And it's funny because a lot of people don't think you do. I was married at the time, and my ex was like, why are you wasting your time? And then it took a few months, and prizes started to show up, little ones. And then I won him a couple of big prizes that came in his name. Well, after that, it was like, hey, have you seen that one? Have you had that one? Are we in this? Are we in that? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I like how it changes when the prizes start to show up. It's not a waste of time. But also, it's a good time to talk about this. It's January. So it's a good time. People start and they go, well, I entered 3 giveaways and I didn't win anything. And I think, I call it January at the gym. You don't expect to go to the gym 3 days in a row and go, So why is the 50 pounds still here?
Right.
You know, like it's not instant. It's just like, you know, you have to watch what you eat. You have to go to the gym every day, and it takes time for that weight to come off. So just like that, it's the same with the hobby. You got to enter, and what you're entering today, if you read the rules, which is my number one tip, so you don't disqualify yourself, read the rules. If it might not draw for another few weeks, well, you know, and then by the time the company gets a chance to drawing, so what you enter today, you might not win for 3-4 months. There's a gap. So you kind of have to keep always entering so that funnel kind of gets started. It's a sales funnel, actually. If you've had any salespeople, they'll show you the sales funnel, and it's, you know, cold to warm to hot to close.
Well,
and it's the same.
I have a question then that brings me to when I was younger, I was taught every time I walked by one of those boxes with a car and then sweepstakes and stuff, my mom would go, stay away from that because they sell your name. You know, don't enter that. And we have a lot of people here we have telemarketer issues, we have, you know, junk email. And I noticed in your book you have a huge tip about that, but I was always afraid to enter anything because I'd be bombarded with telemarketers and emails. But so tell me, how do you debunk that for me? What does that mean?
Well, I use my cell phone as my phone number when I enter. So I answer every call because I never know. And I don't get telemarketers a lot. Like everybody does. But for some reason I don't. And I don't think they sell them. Think about it. The large corporations, first of all, you read the rules. Most of the rules will have a clause in there that say we're not selling your name. They've spent a lot of money. Think about it. You enter for, say, a Fortune 500 company. They've just spent a ton of money on a sweepstakes to collect your data to market to you. Do you think they're going to sell that data?
Well, that makes sense.
Not in a million years.
Right.
They're not going to. Why? And then who's going to buy it? Their competitor? No. They're not going to do that. That said, just to be on the safe side, I have an email address separate just for entering sweepstakes, and I use my cell phone as my number if they want to call me to tell me I won something.
So what do you mean you have an email separate? Explain that again. What do you mean? You don't use your home email?
I set up an email address separate just for entering sweepstakes. So I have one for entering sweepstakes, and then of course I have my business one that I use.
Gotcha.
Right? I have ones for Contest Queen, and that's where I conduct my business, but I don't use that for entering sweepstakes.
Okay, so
I will occasionally, if it's a business sweepstakes, I will use my business one, but that's really rare. Only if I want to win like a business package for my business, and then I will use that. But otherwise, no, I won't use it.
That's interesting. So you can just filter through all those emails.
Yes, they're all in one concise place.
So
the other thing
Right.
I notice is that you keep a spreadsheet, which I've never thought about doing. Right now, I'm keeping a list, but you have raised the bar in that you keep a spreadsheet, so you actually can put a value to your prizes. And I'm getting to the point that my list is growing long, and I've never put a value to them, and now that's what I want to do.
That's right, because you enter a contest, don't you?
Yes,
You've won stuff.
I started entering contests in college, and I won a recipe contest, a national contest, from which is so funny. A college kid winning a recipe contest for Campbell's soup. Now, I wasn't the grand prize winner. I was one of many, but that's when I got the enthusiasm, because I thought, if I can win a Campbell's soup recipe contest,
Yeah.
what else can I win?
Oh, that's awesome. You get the
Yeah,
high.
yeah.
So you've won trips and all kinds of stuff, haven't you?
Yes, I've won. The most special thing that I won, and Carolyn, I love serendipity and how things come together, and I won a cruise. And at that point in time, I really wasn't too excited about winning a cruise. It was through Gourmet Magazine. And there'd been a lot of negative things going on with cruise lines. And my husband and I had just gotten back from a cruise, and I thought, gosh. So I delicately mentioned it to the people, which was the Gourmet Magazine. I said, is there any other options that I have for the cruise? And they said, well, let us get back to you. So they came back to me and they said, you can pick any hotel in a certain article they did, which was all the fine dining cities, and I chose New York, and they put together something really special for me. And it came together, and they said, now, here's the deal. It's going to be on November 13th. And, is that acceptable? Because this is how we can put it together. Well, it coincided. It was my 10th wedding anniversary.
Oh, my goodness. That's amazing.
So got to take my husband, and that's when I think he became a real believer, on this all-expense-paid wonderful trip to New York at the St. Regis, and all the fun things that were provided for us. So you always remember that,
That's
those
awesome.
special experiences.
That's awesome. Well, in your book, the chapter, let's see, you have, is it the 6 steps to getting starting to entering and winning quickly? Is that correct? In your book?
Yeah, I don't have it that as a chapter per se. I wrote that as a blog separate.
Okay. All
Because
right.
some people, I get a lot of people who hear about me and just want to get started. They're too excited.
Yes, yes.
Because it is a fun hobby. We have
is.
to admit that. So my number one tip is always read the rules, because I can't tell you the number of times I've disqualified myself because I get so excited, and I remember when I was married, I'd enter me, and then I'd enter my ex, and then I'd go and I'd read the rules and say 1 entry per household. And I'm like,
And you just
why did I just do that?
Yeah.
And then you have to feel like a winner. I do tell people that, because you can't be a negative Nilly and expect to win. And then there's actually aggregates. There's something called sweepstakes aggregates.
I was
There's
just looking at
websites
that.
that aggregate the websites that aggregate legitimate sweepstakes. So you don't have to waste your time hunting all over to find sweepstakes that are open to you.
Wow.
There's a lot of them. I have them in a resource section on my website.
Okay.
Because when I started, there was no one place to find where to go. So I call myself the hub of all things contesting, right? If you want to run a sweepstakes, contact me. I can get you in touch with the lawyers. I can manage it myself. If you want to enter, I've got all the tips to winning. I've got links to the aggregate. So there's different things. I connect it to everybody. And so it's nice. And I tell people, they say, well, which is the best one? And I go, well, I don't know, because I don't know which one's best for you. I tell people, go and try different sites and see which format is good for you. Some people prefer the newsletter. Some people prefer the website. Some people prefer, the odd mail-in. There's just one newsletter specializing in what mail-ins are left. So there's different things. Some people like text to win, so they might prefer one aggregate. So I tell them, go test them all out and see which one suits you.
And you said use all 5 entry methods, right? In person, call in, online social media, text messaging. I mean, it's good to maximize your odds for winning if you use all 5, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I always thought winning, and then I caught that cold that was going around, and I finally went out to dinner on Saturday night, and we spotted. Of course, I see the word "win" at 100 paces. There was one of the test cards on a table across the way, and I look over, and we were out with my daughter, and I went, "Hey, go get me that." And so she trots over. She's well versed, and I read it, and it's just a holiday sweepstakes. And my boyfriend says to me, "Well, ask them." I'm like, "Oh, it's past." Like, I'm such a negative Nilly at this point because I'm so tired still, and I'm like, and he's like, "No, come on, like, you're the contest queen. Let's get with it."
You were tired because you had a cold, not because of you're tired of contest. You had a cold.
Oh yeah, no, I never tired of winning.
Yeah.
But I said, and he says, "Okay," so we asked, and she's like, "Oh no, you have to buy a beer," and I'm like, "No, there's no purchase necessary. I know the laws." So she brings us over the scratch card. Anyway, and she's like, "There's only one left in the whole restaurant," and he's calling foul, and I'm like, "Oh well," and I scratch it and I win.
Yay!
You did, so you won something Saturday.
I won a beer glass. So,
but
so I have a picture of me in the thing, and I thought I got to blog about this because here I am being all poo poo, and everyone else is pushing me, and sure enough.
That's something I want you to mention too. You said the law, no purchase necessary. So tell us about that, because a lot of people think they have to spend money to win money, and that's not true, correct?
Correct. I mean, you have to spend money if you're going to play the lottery, because that is that's a pay to play format. But for sweepstakes, you shouldn't have to spend money. Now, if you're mailing in a sweepstakes entry, yeah, you're going to spend a little money because you got to have the envelope and the stamp and the card inside and that. So that's technically spending money,
Right.
right, to enter. And if you want to really split hairs, you have to pay for your internet access if you're going to enter online.
Okay.
But you're not actually paying to be in to win. And that's why my number one tip is always read the rules, because how can you enter? How many times can you enter? What are the requirements of entry? I found one the other day to win a slush puppy machine. I'm like, oh yeah,
Slush puppy
we're all over
machine.
that.
Yeah.
Then I'm reading the rules, and I have to have a picture with the slush puppy.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's January. I've got to go find a slush puppy machine in January. I'm like, what stores have them now? I'm going to have to go find one and take a picture.
So that fine print is important. So that brings me to scams. So a lot of people don't enter stuff because they think it'll cost money, or you get telemarketers that call and they say, pay a certain amount to enter a contest. So tell me, how do
Yeah.
people recognize scams? We're going to go to a commercial
Well,
break in just a minute, but
okay.
if you could tell me that real quick,
Well,
then we'll
right
go to
there,
commercial
if
break.
you have to pay, it's not a real contest.
Not a real contest.
You should never pay to get a prize.
Gotcha.
And you should always, again, read the rules. If you are unsure, tell them, email me a copy of the official rules and see how fast they hang up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because if it's a real contest, they're going to send you the official rules.
Okay.
Well, this is so excited, Carolyn, and we have some more exciting things to talk about. Like for me, being a psychic, can I predict winners?
I'm looking forward to that.
Lottery numbers, and she's going to give us some other really good secrets and tips for winning lottery and sweepstakes. So tune in; you don't want to miss it. We're going to a break. Thank you, with Carolyn
Thank you
Willman.
so
much, and you guys, yes, please donate when you get a chance. It helps all of us keep these exciting programs going. And you go to unitedintentions.org to do that. But we are with Carolyn Willman right now, and her current book that's on Amazon right now is called How to Win Cash, Cars, Trips, and More. And that's her second edition of the first
there it
book.
is.
Yes,
Yeah,
there it is.
there it is.
And it's exciting. The first edition was You Can't Win It If You Don't Enter. But the current book, the second edition, is now available on Amazon, Kindle, and Kobo, which I don't know if that's a Canadian thing, but I haven't recognized.
Yeah.
Canadian. I see you crazy
Yeah.
Canadians. Okay, but you're the good crazy. We talked about that.
Yeah,
So
I'm the good crazy.
in the book, what's new in that, the second edition, it actually combines both the Canadian and American editions into a whole comprehensive winning guide. There's also new contest tips, sweeping tips, trips, winning stories and adventures, and how to win on social media, which is a big thing right now. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. So you guys, those are real things. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't think they are, but it's real. And then she also talks about behind the scenes interviews with the aggregates, which she was just talking about, and apps and websites that you use every day to win. So there's so many ways to win that people aren't aware of, because people like me are scared to do it because I was trained, oh no, that's a bad thing. So I'm changing my mind right now. And
yeah.
Jesse and I were talking, we're going to go buy lottery tickets, aren't we, Jesse?
Yes, we are. I am.
Yes.
Okay, well, speaking of lottery tickets,
Yes.
Beth, can you predict lottery winnings?
Okay, that's a great question. I cannot tell you how many times I get the question, because I'm a psychic, if I can predict lottery numbers. And I'm just going to give you the quick answer. No, I cannot. It's a machine-driven thing. It's a statistics with algorithms, and you're not reading a person. You're not reading their energy.
Okay.
So you're not
All
reading
right.
a soul. And what most psychics like myself do, we read souls. We also read, we channel in, and we read souls from beyond. And our main job is to help empower people, how to help them tune into their own psychic abilities and empower them, their intuition, how to really hone in on that. And we work with their soul and their intuition. So we don't usually work with numbers. Now, for fun, I threw out the score on the game.
Yeah.
52-38, and technically those are football players, so I can technically throw that statistic out, and who knows, y'all will have to see if I'm right. I don't know. Haven't actually ever done that before. But when it comes to giving someone the lottery numbers or myself the lottery numbers, I've never tried, and I don't really think that that's the way we're supposed to use our gifts anyway. So I really feel like in particular my gift, and everyone has the same gift. It's just a matter of tuning in and learning how to use it. But it's to help people. It's service. Okay, so some people would say, I can hear Carolyn's mind right now going, yes, but winning is service, and it is. But we have amazing people like her out there that this is what they do for a living, not sweeping, but actually teaching people and marketing, and they know the behind the scenes. That's just not my field. So the short answer to that is no, I cannot predict the lottery. So I'm just going to go play it like every normal person.
And have fun with it.
Have fun with it. Now, Carolyn, before you came on, we were talking about, because she likes astrology, she's into this woo-woo stuff too. She's not just into algorithms and aggregates. You were saying that on the 16th, you were going to buy a bunch of lottery tickets. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, so I like all of it. Like, I've had my house feng shuied. I will, use the power of gratitude. I will do whatever it takes to win. That's why I have a whole chapter on attracting luck, because it's not just positive thinking. There's other things too. And I also work with. I have another business doing digital marketing, so I work with a lot of spiritual advisors. I work with a lot of psychics. I work with intuitives. I work with astrologers and other and Hay House authors. And I do some community management for them, which means I manage their social media. So that's what I mean. I don't earn my living winning. Darn. And so because of that, I got into astrology, and I've been listening to all these astrologers for January, and I'm a Capricorn, and I'm actually a triple Capricorn. For any of those that like astrology, my sun, my moon, and my Mercury are all Capricorn.
Wow.
All sitting beside each other. And for the first time since the 1500s, we're going to have 6 planets all moving forward in Capricorn on the 16th. Rick Levine talks about this in his monthly video, that it's actually a big reset day. And so I thought, and other astrologers have been talking about Capricorns winning the lottery. So I thought, okay, that day I am buying like every lottery ticket.
Oh my gosh.
I'm waiting till I think, why not? I'm going to to me, I'm going to use every tool available to me. Why should I dig a garden with a teaspoon when I can use a shovel?
Exactly.
And so if that means I can win the lottery if I buy all my tickets on one day, what the heck?
Well, good luck.
I don't
good
know.
Luck,
Good
Carolyn.
luck,
and
definitely.
happy birthday.
Yeah.
So
Happy birthday.
So I think, sometimes when our birthday month falls, we get a little extra boost and things go our way, and we feel that confidence and energy that goes along with it. But Carolyn, I wanted to ask you about Helene Hadsel, talking about, we've got a big contest in the United States, maybe Canada too, where Home and Garden is giving away a dream home.
Oh my goodness.
Well, they do this every year.
Yes, and you actually got to meet somebody that won a house. So share with us some tips from the legacy of Helene Hadsel.
Well, she was a master manifester. She's very funny. I had her on my radio show years ago when I had my own little show, and I asked to come visit her, and she told me no. And then she called me back and said, "Oh my gosh, your guides are so loud that I have to say yes." Apparently, they wouldn't shut up. So, which is no surprise if you know me. I tend to be a bit on the loud side anyway. So I thought, well, of course my guides are loud. I'm loud. So I went down and spent 4 days with her, and she was just a master manifester. I think she never saw the block. She worked with Jose Silva, and I think she just learned to do it so well, it became second nature to her. And the only thing that she didn't seem to manifest was she wanted to be a guest on the David Letterman show.
Oh goodness.
I won a seat
Oh, did
at
you?
the David Letterman
Oh, my
show.
gosh.
That's so interesting. Yes.
Well, no, but she wanted to be a guest.
Yeah.
Like, she wanted to sit and talk to David, like be on the show, like not in
Yes.
the audience.
I'm just drawing a
Right.
correlation
And,
there, though. That is
Yes.
kind of interesting that I
And
won
that never happened. So I find it interesting that obviously I think there is sometimes things that happen that are part of our soul contract
Oh yeah.
that that they'll happen. If there's room in your soul contract for stuff, then sure, why not? But I can't decide I'm going to marry George Clooney, because that's just not in my. I mean, I can decide. Let me rephrase that. I can decide I'm going to marry George Clooney, but the universe might have a few other things to say about that, along with his wife.
Yeah,
So,
she might. Yeah.
Well,
she might.
when
So
you-
there's different things that are what is quote realistic and possibility. But I can put it out there saying I like all the qualities that he embodies, and I would like someone like him for me. That I can put out to the universe and it probably manifest that.
Well, getting back to Helene.
Oh, sorry about that. I went off
Well,
track.
that's okay. That's quite all right. Would you say that she won every contest that she entered?
Yeah, so it was different back in the day. So when she was doing it, there wasn't the volume of sweepstakes that there is now, and there was, of course, no social media, no internet. So it's exponential today, and I think if she was entering today, she wouldn't win everything she entered just because of the sheer volume. But in those days, what she would do is she had a list. Actually, I should do it again this year because it's January.
Yes, you should, before your
She would
birthday.
get a 3x5 and write down one words of what she wanted to win that year.
Oh, wow.
And so she would write, carrots, and then she would write a fry pan, and then she would only enter sweepstakes with those as prizes or things to get to that. So, so she might enter cash ones because then she could use the money to buy those things, and she would still consider winning them because it didn't have to be a straight line for her. She didn't worry about the how. She worried about the end result.
Yes, yes.
Right?
I remember.
So she had a list, and she would just look at that list every morning. She had one taped in her car. She had one taped on her bathroom mirror. I think she had one taped in her kitchen. And she would just look at those words, and that's all she would focus on. And then she also had something called the knowing, where the house that she won, she went to visit it because they were having like an open thing where you could go and sit. And she said she sat on the couch and she just knew she was going to win it. She just knew. And I've had that. How many times have we had something, a little voice has popped in,
Act
and
on
you
it.
go, eh. And then afterwards something happens, and you go, oh my God, I knew that. I
Yes.
knew that. Why didn't I listen to the little voice? Hello?
Yes. Well, that's what I mean, that brings to mind. I mean, that's exactly what we do here on United Intentions. And that's actually what I teach in my business as well when I'm teaching psychic development, is that when your intuition, your gut, your spidey senses, your guides, a lot of people don't realize that's what it is, or your higher self, they don't realize that what it is. They're telling you to act on something. When you ignore that, you're certainly not going to win, but you're not help building that confidence either. And setting your intention is exactly like you just described. What she was doing was setting her intentions. And that's exactly how you set intentions now. And you don't worry about how it's going to happen. You just know that it's going to happen, and you follow those steps that you're guided to do to make it happen.
Right.
And
So for
that's
her-
the secret to manifesting. Yes,
For her,
absolutely.
her wedding anniversary, she wanted to go to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, I think it was her 40th birthday. And so she ended up in Paris at a cafe on her 40th birthday, but it was kind of a hobbled thing where she won airline tickets, and then she won some hotel stay, and then she won something else. And she basically, or she won a trip to New York, and then she won something else. So then she just used the airfare to New York and then hopped on a plane to Paris. Like, she basically hobbled this trip together from all these different wins.
Right.
But she didn't care because on her 40th birthday, she was sitting in an outdoor cafe having
drinking
wine
a
on her
glass
40th
of
birthday.
wine. Yeah,
She manifested.
Right, so she didn't worry about the how.
Yeah.
She just said, "Okay, I want to be there," and she hobbled it together. But it didn't matter because that wasn't the goal. The goal isn't, "Oh, I need to fly first class." No, the whole goal is I want to sit here and have wine.
Right.
So
Well,
that's what you got to focus on: is what's the end result.
you know, the lady that just won, you put it up on the website, didn't you, Jesse? She just won the big Mega Millions or something or won a bunch of money. She only bought the dollar scratch off, correct? But then she got a $10 scratch off
Yeah,
with
so
the.
she bought the $1, but they gave her a $10, and that $10 got her 500,000.
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah. So like you said, it might be a trail, but you still get there. That's crazy.
And you've had some good results with scratch-offs, Beth.
I have. My daughters have won money, $500 and $800.
That's
scratch-offs.
significant for a scratch-off.
It is. When we get back, we're going to go to a commercial break, but we're actually going to talk about the odds of playing your state lottery, scratch-offs versus the big Mega Millions. We've got some secret tips on that as well.
Okay.
We'll be right back with Carolyn Willman. And we're back. That was a nice short break. I like that. We're with Carolyn Willman, and she has been coined herself, and her website is the Contest Queen. But she also, for a living, does marketing and helps businesses with sweepstakes and forming those themselves. Real quick, before we get to the lottery and everything about that, I wanted to also tell you that if you go to her website, I was on it last night studying it and listening to some of her interviews. It's a very friendly website. It's so easy. So you go to contestqueen.com and she's got a section where you just click 5 ways to begin winning on the homepage, and it literally is step by step 5 ways to begin winning. I mean, she gives so much information away, which we're going to talk about that. Why do you give all these secrets away? I mean, it's free for you guys to read these things. I would highly recommend you reading her book because there's so much more interesting things in there. I was going through it myself and went through the first chapter, and it's worth the read. But if you want just the basic tips, you can go to her website. And like she said before, she's got 2 different ways on her website. You can go on the business side, on the marketing side, or you can be the sweeper like us, the winners, which I am now coining myself a winner.
Yes.
And
yes.
So definitely go to her website and look at that, the 5 ways to begin winning. And I was just going to share a story real quick. Forever, I used to never win door prizes, ever. I was just like, oh, I never win them. Have you ever thought that, Jesse?
Right.
You just don't win door prizes. Like, oh, I never win it. They never call my number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I was like that most of my life. And but I got really upset about it one time. When I worked for the school system, we would have these monthly meetings, and they did these giveaways in the monthly meetings. And there's about 350 of us administrative assistants in these meetings. And they had all these door prizes. And I finally got mad one day. I said, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm going to start winning door prizes.
I love it.
I was like, nope, they're going to call me. And so I just literally intuitively changed my attitude and said, nope, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Kid you not, every meeting after that, I won something.
Wow.
Every time. It literally
Yes.
was just an attitude change. So I think that's a huge secret tip that most people don't realize. And here's the thing. I've noticed people, they'll say stuff like, well, I got the lottery ticket and I said, I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. It's not enough to say it. Saying it does nothing. You have to actually feel it.
That's a good point, Beth.
You have to feel it because you counteract the law of attraction is going to go with what your feeling is, your emotions. It's not going to go with what you say. So you got to believe what you're saying.
What are you vibrating?
Yeah, actually, yeah, exactly. Your vibration will attract that. So, Carolyn, we were going to talk earlier about lotteries because a lot of people are sitting there on pins and needles going, how can we win the lottery? So, do you have some tips for that? State versus big, etc.
Well, I actually interviewed Richard Lustig. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records for winning the most grand prize lottery prizes. And he's
Lustig?
won.
How do you spell that last name?
Richard Lustig,
Okay.
and he's won 7, I think. Hold on, sorry.
It's okay. She's getting over a
Yes.
cold for people that don't
Yeah.
know, and she's in the cold Canada right now.
Oh my gosh.
Actually,
I've been doing pretty good.
you are doing great.
And it makes sense. He wins in the state lottery, but it's no different than when I say when you enter sweepstakes, concentric circles. Your odds are going to be greater in a local than in a state than in a national.
Okay.
So it just makes sense.
Because of statistics, right? I mean, that's all. There's no big secret about that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can look at your odds and you look at the statistics. Don't go against those.
Did he have
Yeah,
any?
but that said,
Yeah.
it only takes 1 to win.
True.
There must have been something
That's true.
super unique about him to win 7 times.
Yeah. Did he mention
Did
what
he
that was?
share anything? Was it a
No, you
mindset?
have to buy his book, of course. He won't give away his
Okay.
secrets.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, it's like me. I give away a lot of free stuff on my site, and I do.
Yeah.
But the core, how to find, organize, enter, and win sweepstakes, there's a main chapter called My Online System.
Yes.
That I don't give away.
Right.
You can spend the $20.
Exactly.
But you know what? It's fine. There's, and I want people to get started and just try stuff out. And I have a lot of free tips. And Dawn, I just uploaded the new 2018 spreadsheet on the on my website, so make sure you go and download it.
Okay, now also you've got a seminar or a class that's coming up, I saw.
Yeah, I've got 3. I started finally. I've wanted to do this for years, and I finally started doing it. It's called, I have 3 of them. I have one on attracting luck, which I have to move the date, and I have one on contesting for beginners. So anybody who's brand new and is completely lost, I'm holding a class on that.
I think that's the one I
I've got
need to
one
do.
called How to Win on Social Media, which is where a lot of slightly more seasoned sweepers get a little confused. Am I doing this right on Facebook? Am I doing that right on Twitter?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do when I see this? They get a little confused. It can be a little overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I help with
Well,
that.
is your upcoming class, is it an online class that our
Yeah, all my
audience?
classes are online. So
Okay.
you can be anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Carolyn, I heard an interesting story on one of your interviews, and because this is United Intentions and we're a feel-good show, we're positive people, would you mind sharing with us the serendipity of one of the reasons why you do share this with everyone? I know it has something to do with a sign, so could you share that story with us?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm glad you brought it up because I did want to tell this story. So you said, why do you give all this stuff away for free? And actually, that question was posed to me. So what happened was I started realizing my daughter was 2.5, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to work now. It's time for me to go, back to the workspace. And I was starting to look for a job, but I also had been winning a lot. And everyone kept saying to me, you should be writing a book. So I started doing some research and interviewing people and questioning things. And then I actually had a reporter who had written an article on it. Say, why would you give away all your secrets? And I thought, well, that's a good question. So I was going to a girlfriend's house to have coffee, and I passed a church. It's really serendipitous. I went a different route than I normally do, and I passed a church, and on the service announcement board, it said, you can't lose helping others win. And I saw that sign, and I thought, oh my God, that's for me! And I knew right then I was writing a book, and what's really funny
Yes.
Yeah.
is I'm mad that I didn't go back and take a picture of it. But a lot of people say, oh, please, God, give me a sign. Well, I literally had a sign.
Yes.
And then after the book was published, I went to the church, and I talked to the pastor, and I gave him a copy for their church library. And I said, those signs change people's lives. And he says, he can't tell you the number of times. There's one couple in the church, and that's their job. They go and they change the signs on a weekly basis. And he says, he couldn't tell me the number of times people have come in, whatever the sign was, and has said, that changed my life, or I needed to hear that message, or whatever it was. So it's kind of cool.
It's
How we're
beautiful.
all connected.
It's beautiful.
What was it again? What was
You can't lose helping others win.
You can't lose helping others win.
Absolutely. It's
That is a
beautiful.
worthy
And, you know-
mission.
Literally,
Yes.
for me, I literally help people win. And I think it's more than that, because I think when you're a sweeper, and yeah, it's fun, but I think it helps with your attitude because you're positive. You can't go around being a sourpuss looking for sweepstakes.
Right. Lower your vibration. You're not going to do it. You're right. I agree.
Yeah, it's fun. And my daughter doesn't know. I remember we were with one of her friends at this movies, and she says, hey, Mom, when was the last time we paid for a movie? I'm like, I don't know.
Because you win all the tickets. That's so cool. That was one of my door prizes. I won movie tickets too. That's cool.
Oh, and she loves the ones where we win previews. So she sees them before, so she'll be at school, and they're all her friends are like, oh, I can only wait to see so-and-so. And she goes, oh, yeah, it's really good. They're like, how do you know? She goes, I've seen it already. I'm like, how have you seen it? She's like, wow, I have my connections. I have my ways.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm setting out to win The Greatest Show.
Oh, yeah, I haven't
Greatest
seen
Show.
that.
Oh, I want to see it so bad. The
Yeah,
Greatest
okay.
Show about the circus. So I'm going to put that in my intention.
Hugh Jackman.
To win that.
And we had the Golden
tickets to
Globes
that.
last night, so there was
Yeah.
a lot of good films. And
A lot of winning.
Yeah,
a
a lot of
winning going
yeah.
on last night.
That one's
Yeah,
definitely winning.
Good.
Well, one of the things that I teach actually in psychic development is exactly what you're talking about. It's looking for those signs, literally signs. And I'll tell people, because they'll say, well, sometimes I don't notice the signs. I said, well, tell your guides to give you signs so big you can't miss them, as big as a billboard. So, like you said, there it was on the sign. Read the signs, people. Read the signs. We get communication from our guides in so many different ways. You just have to pay attention. And that's one of the secrets to me to winning is paying attention. When you ask for something, pay attention to what you're getting, and you'll receive your answers. And it's a step-by-step process. Wouldn't you agree, Carolyn? It's not all at once, is it? It's step by step, right?
No, it isn't all at once. I wish it was.
Yeah.
I still haven't won a car.
Oh, you're
so
gonna win
I'm
that.
working on it.
Okay, I can tell you right now, you're definitely going to win it. And I'm going to tell you, hold on, it's navy blue. It's navy blue. It's
Whoa.
yeah, I feel like you're a blue person, and it's like a it's navy, but it's actually like almost like a jewel tone navy, if you understand what I mean.
I will take any car, but yeah,
Sapphire.
blue.
I
Yeah,
see like
sapphire.
a-
yeah,
kinda
it's
that
really
sapphire,
pretty,
yeah.
and it is a sportsmobile type car. So the back seat is a little squashy, but so you're going to sit low to the ground, but it's a beautiful car. But that's what you're going
I
to win.
think I can handle that.
Yeah.
I think I can handle that.
Yeah,
We'll
you
take
and your
it.
boyfriend can go out to dinner in that. She's got a new guy that she's talking to, so that'll be fun for her to go out to dinner in that, or go see the new movie.
And take my daughter out.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Take your
She'll
daughter
like
out.
it. She'll be so proud. My daughter is fun. But yeah, sometimes she's a good kid. And she loves it, and she'll spot them. And
She will.
actually, she started entering on her own. She'll
I was
say,
just
"Oh,
gonna
Mom, I
ask you
was
that.
entering this one," and I'm like, "Yeah."
I was
my
just going
girl.
to ask you that. How old is she now? She's old enough to do that,
She's
correct?
15.
Oh, okay. So,
But I've been entering her in the little kid one since she was born.
okay. So you were saying make sure you read the rules. Are most of the sweepstakes and stuff supposed to be 18 and older, or are there actual
It
sweepstakes that
depends.
they can
So,
enter?
for example, if you go to like Cartoon Network and Nick Jr. and all these like children friendly, a lot of them will be 13 and up.
Oh, okay. And does she,
Or again, that's where you have to read the rules to see what the cutoffs are.
uh-huh.
And then usually what happens is if a minor wins, a parent has to sign the release form
Mhm.
to claim the prize. But of course, I would do that.
Right,
You'd be
right.
happy to.
And does she have her own private email address just for
Yeah.
winning as well?
But I don't get her to always check it all the time. So part of me thinking I should set one up just for entering on her behalf and not tell her. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that would be good. I thought I read a story that recently that you almost missed a big win because you didn't check your messages. And
Oh my gosh, I've been this year has been, last year was a bit crazy, and I had like a year where I lost a lot of big clients, and then the summer went like this, and then it started, and I got these clients back at the end of the year. So here I am scrambling between the holidays and the holiday sweepstakes and family, and I was just so busy. So we were heading to my sister's for Christmas, so now I'm not driving, which is a nice change. And so I'm sitting there, and I got a chance to go through my Instagram, and I look, and I have 3 direct message requests. I'm like, how did I miss those? And I look, and there was one from Hellman's. I'm like, oh my gosh, and it was like from 10 days before. I'm like, how
Oh my
do I miss
gosh.
stuff? I'm sitting there, and I'm really upset with myself. I'm like, this is the stuff that I teach. How did I miss it?
oh my goodness! So people
And
check your messages.
Yeah, so I completely missed it, and I thought, okay. So I messaged them, and I said, any chance? And I thought, okay, it's done. Oh, well, because I run sweepstakes. I know if somebody doesn't respond, you go draw another name. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to put it out there anyway. But there was a lot of little prizes, and I guess maybe they can't get rid of them, or people aren't getting back to them because they did the same thing. And so they messaged me back and say, well, if you send us this info by this day, you can have it. I'm like, oh, my gosh.
you got it.
So I
at
don't
the
know what's
time.
going to show up. I have a feeling. I don't think it's one of the big prizes. I don't think I won the barbecue, but I won something. So
That's
Yeah.
great.
I was very lucky because that's rare that the prize would still be available.
That's crazy. Well, Carolyn, this has been a joy talking to you. And you guys, if you want the nitty gritty, the real good tips, go buy her book, How to Win Cash Car Trips and More. Also, go to her website, contestqueen.com, to get a lot of free tips. This has been so much fun. I'm so excited. Jesse and I were just talking, and I know Dawn too. We're going to go get some lottery tickets. And definitely on the 16th to celebrate your birthday.
We'll be thinking of you.
We'll go enter some sweepstakes and buy some lottery tickets. So you guys start setting your intention, feel like a winner, and take Carolyn's advice and really manifest your dreams. It's not just luck. It is luck, but you got to do your part to develop that luck as well.
Put it out there.
Yeah, so we really have enjoyed talking to you in Canada, and I'm glad you're feeling better, and this has been enlightening. So you guys, I appreciate it. Dawn, I appreciate it. If we got a great show lineup today. We've got some more shows coming up, Jesse, correct?
During the week we do, yes.
During the week? Okay. So, guys, do me a favor. If you love my show and you love me, share my show with your friends. This will be on the archives. You can get it in several different places. Spread the word. It'll be on YouTube soon. Share it for Carolyn, share it for Dawn, and share it for United Intentions. But we love you guys. You can reach me at BethPetersPsychicMedium.com, and we are signing out. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Carolyn, for the winning edge you gave us today.
Yes.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Yes. See you guys later. I'll see you next Monday. Thank you. 12 p.m. Bye-bye.